Trauma. Bonded. Stuck to him. Why am I trauma bonded to someone who hurts me? Have you ever thought, I know this person isn't good for me, but somehow I just can't leave? You fight, you cry, you promise yourself, this is the last time. And then a few days later, you're answering their message again, giving them one more chance. If that's you, I want you to know, you're not crazy, you're not weak, and you're definitely not alone. Today, we're going to talk about why you can feel so strongly attached to someone who also keeps hurting you. In psychology, we call this a trauma bond. And we'll not only look at what trauma bonding is, but how it connects to real, established theories like intermittent reinforcement, attachment theory, cognitive dissonance, and learned helplessness. Then, at the end, I'll walk you through some realistic first steps you can take even if you're not ready to leave yet. This is Meta Insight Hub, where we don't just look at what people do, we look at the source code of the mind underneath it. 1. What is a trauma bond? Let's start with a simple definition. A trauma bond is an intense emotional attachment to someone who also causes you repeated harm. In your head, you might think, this is unhealthy, this is hurting me. But in your body, you feel deeply tied to them. Letting go feels almost impossible. It's like two realities in conflict. This person is bad for me. I can't stand the idea of losing them. That tension isn't a sign that you're broken. It's a sign that your nervous system and your psychology have adapted to a very specific pattern. 2. Theory number 1, intermittent reinforcement, when love feels like an addiction. One of the most important pieces comes from behaviorism, from B.F. Skinner's words on intermittent reinforcement. In simple terms, the most addictive pattern is not constant reward, but unpredictable reward. Think about slot machines, gambling, or certain mobile games. You don't win every time. You win sometimes, just enough and just unpredictably enough to keep you hooked. Now let's put that into relationships. Most of the time you may get criticism, coldness, distance, fights, silent treatment. But then sometimes they turn into your dream partner. Deeply apologetic, soft, loving, fully present, telling you exactly what you always wanted to hear. Those perfect days create powerful emotional highs. Your brain records those moments like golden memories and tells you, see, this is who they really are. If we can just get through this rough patch, we can go back to that. So you're not attached to the overall pattern, because the overall pattern is painful. You're attached to the occasional high. That's what makes trauma bonding feel so much like addiction. 3. Theory number 2, attachment, when chaos feels like home. The next piece comes from attachment theory, originally developed by John Bowlby. As children, we develop an internal template of love, not in words, but in the nervous system. If, when you were growing up, love felt like inconsistency, unpredictability, having to work hard to be good enough, emotional distance, or criticism, your body may have learned, love feels like anxiety plus hope, like walking on eggshells and then occasionally being seen. So later, in adult relationships, you might meet someone who is calm, consistent, emotionally safe, and a part of you feels bored or suspicious. Then you meet someone who is intense, confusing, sometimes amazing, sometimes very hurtful, and a part of you feels, this feels like chemistry, this feels like real love. But often it's not chemistry, it's familiarity. Your nervous system is simply recognizing a pattern it already knows. So chaos plus hope can start to feel like my kind of love, even when it's destroying you. 4. Theory number 4, cognitive dissonance and shame, turning anger against yourself. Another powerful force is cognitive dissonance, the discomfort of holding two conflicting truths. On one side, this relationship is hurting me. On the other, I'm still here. Those two realities crash into each other. To reduce the discomfort, your mind often does this. Instead of thinking, maybe they're doing something deeply wrong, it turns inward. I'm probably overreacting. I'm too sensitive. If I were better, calmer, prettier, smarter, they wouldn't treat me like this. That's where shame comes in. Shame says, the problem is me. It's painful, but it's strangely easier than admitting that someone you love is consistently harming you. So instead of directing anger toward the behavior, you direct it toward yourself. Over time, this can lead to lower and lower self-worth, believing you deserve less, defending them and attacking you. That's a perfect environment for a trauma bond to stay strong. 5. Theory number 5, learned helplessness and isolation. The last piece I'll mention here is learned helplessness, a concept from Martin Seligman. At first, you try. You bring up issues, you say, this really hurts me, you ask them to change a specific behavior. But each time you get denial, blame, mockery, or gaslighting. You're crazy, you're imagining things, you're the one causing all the problems. After enough failed attempts, your brain quietly concludes, nothing I do changes this. Talking doesn't work. Maybe I should just stop trying. That's learned helplessness. Now add isolation. If they attack your friends and family, discourage you from seeing other people, or make you feel guilty for having any life outside the relationship, you slowly lose your reality checks. The relationship becomes your whole world, and in that small, closed world, their version of reality starts to feel like truth, and that makes the trauma bond even harder to break. 6. So why am I trauma bonded to someone who hurts me? Let's pull this together. You might be trauma bonded because 1. Intermittent reward makes the relationship feel like an addiction. You're hooked on the next good day. 2. Your attachment history taught your body that anxious, unstable love is what home feels like. 3. Cognitive dissonance and shame turn anger away from the other person and toward yourself. 4. Learned helplessness and isolation make you believe nothing will change and cut off the people who might remind you what you truly deserve. None of this means you're stupid. None of this means you're weak. It means your brain and nervous system are doing exactly what they were trying to do in an environment that's hurting you. 7. What can I actually do now? Realistic first steps. This video isn't therapy and it's not a full treatment plan, but I want to give you concrete first steps you can start today, even if you're not ready to leave. 1. Name it clearly. Write this down somewhere. I may be experiencing a trauma bond in this relationship. When you give something a name, your brain can look at it more clearly. It becomes a pattern, not just my personal failure. 2. Draw the pattern, not just the moments. On paper, draw a simple timeline of this relationship. Mark major hurtful events and the perfect moments. Then draw the cycle. Hurt, distance, apology, sweet phase, hurt again. Seeing it laid out like this helps you realize you're not dealing with 1 or 2 bad days. You're dealing with a repeating system. 3. Reality versus fantasy list. Fold a page in half. On the left, write what actually happens. On the right, write what I hope or imagine will happen. Be brutally honest on the left side. They disappear when I need them. They have promised to change many times but repeat the same behavior. On the right side, write the future you're still clinging to. One day they will completely change. Will become the comfortable you were in those first few weeks. This is not to shame you. It's to help you see. Am I holding on to reality or to a fantasy? 4. Reconnect with at least one safe person. Trauma bonds thrive in isolation. If it's safe to do so, reach out to one trusted friend, one family member, or a therapist, counselor, or support group. The goal is not for them to say, leave now. The goal is to let another mind help you see your situation more clearly. Think of it as borrowing someone else's eyes for a little while. 5. If there is violence, safety comes first. If there is any physical violence, threats of harm, being restrained, trapped, or blocked, or deliberate attempts to scare you, this is not just a relationship problem, it's a safety problem. In those situations, the priority is not, how do we fix this relationship? The priority is, how do I keep myself safe? That might mean telling someone you trust, finding a safe place to stay, or contacting local domestic violence or crisis resources in your area. You deserve support. You do not have to figure this out alone. 6. Try one small boundary and observe. If it's not physically dangerous and you feel it's safe enough to experiment, try setting one small boundary. For example, when you say that, it really hurts me. I need you not to call me that. Or, tonight I need to go home and rest. We can talk later. And then just watch. Do they show any real effort to respect your boundary? Or do they increase pressure, blame, or ridicule? You can learn a lot about the future of a relationship by observing how someone responds when you simply ask to be treated with respect. 7. Change how you talk to yourself. Finally, pay attention to the story you tell about yourself. Instead of, what's wrong with me that I can't just leave? Try, of course it's hard to leave. My brain and nervous system have been wired into this pattern for a long time, but I can learn something new. The energy that has been used to hold the relationship together at any cost, you are allowed to slowly redirect that energy toward holding yourself together. 8. Closing. Reframing your story. If you saw yourself in this video, I'm not here to tell you what you must do. I can't see your full lifetime text from here. What I can say is this: you are not weak for wanting love. You are not broken because trauma bonding makes it hard to leave. You are allowed to want a love that does not require you to slowly erase yourself. Today, we looked at intermittent reinforcement, attachment patterns, cognitive dissonance and shame, learned helplessness and isolation, not as abstract theories, but as the invisible architecture behind why you can feel glued to someone who also hurts you. This is Meta Insight Hub. If this helped you see your situation even a little more clearly, you can stay with us. Subscribe, leave a like, and if you feel safe, share a bit of your story in the comments. You don't have to go through these realizations alone.